internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world. XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over Swift one day?
Well,
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hours of Crypto. Let's get right into today's video. This is going to be absolutely insane. In today's episode, you are going to see exactly what's going on behind the scene and why XRP is going to be hitting 10, 20, 30, $40, 100%. You could sit there all you want and say it's not going to hit it for the doubters. All I could say to you is all the best. You waste of skin, okay? Honestly, that's truly what you are. If you're sitting there and thinking it's not going to hit 10, 20, $30, you are an absolute joke. I'm going to set the tone right off the bat. Listen to the little riddle that the IMF gave. Yes, it's the IMF. You want to go make fun of the IMF? Go ahead. Well, they gave us a riddle 3 years ago.
Now, here's the real riddle. If these stablecoins are regulated like banks, don't they end up becoming the banks that crypto assets were meant to replace?
And then you have the BIS Innovation Hub telling you on their podcast they're pretty much revisiting what a bank is.
But since there is no harmonized definition of what a bank is actually globally, we had to take a step back and ask ourselves what actually a bank is. And I have to say this was also quite interesting exercise to do for us, that we have both worked many years already in banking supervision to ask ourselves what actually a bank is.
And then you have Mr. Augustine right here, sitting right in front of you, saying this.
When the technology is mature enough to use, but before we get locked into rigid institutional frameworks or walled gardens erected by large financial institutions or by big tech companies. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to revisit the architecture of the financial system.
And people still want to sit there and doubt XRP, okay? Listen to the information we're going to go over today. Let's start with Jeremy Allaire coming out and saying that Circle announces that USDC and EURC are now available under new EU stablecoin laws. This is very, very important. Keep in mind, RLUSD will be within MiCA and will be compliant within MiCA when they release it. Q4 is the projected timeline. But what's very important here is we're about to fact check my work and what I said 2 years ago when I gave you this little insight from the EU, the Digital Euro Association. Remember this? Stablecoins, an introduction and recommendations. Like Ripple is going to be deemed a bank, and a crypto asset or a crypto asset service provider. This is so important. Look how on the money we were. I mean, at the time they said we were speculating, but everything panned out perfectly. Such an ecosystem could be expanded to the digital euro, either by having it directly issued on the same platforms or by facilitating exchange between digital euro units and those stablecoins by private actors. This exchange would facilitate the usage of both forms of money. The service would likely be offered by private actors, offering de facto interoperability at the technical and legal level. Those actors would likely be strongly regulated, Ripple is, as a crypto asset service provider and as a financial institution. So down the line, don't be surprised if Ripple gets a label of a financial institution. They may be, listen to this part. This is, wow. This is, I got my hand on my forehead right now. This is a paw face right here. They may be the stablecoin issuers themselves. Oh my goodness. Ripple is going to be their issuer themselves. Especially if they are, this is hilarious. Especially if they are reserve-backed stablecoins. Ladies and gentlemen.
And a stablecoin is backed by sovereign currencies of leading nations. That's certainly an improvement over crypto assets, I would say. But nonetheless, Where does the credibility come from? It comes from that sovereign currency that is the backstop. The thing is, existing sovereign currencies are issued with the benefit of the public in mind. The potentially fast and wide adoption of a global stablecoin, potentially a global currency governed only by the incentives of a private company, is something that will deserve and will receive the highest level of regulatory expectations.
It's only gonna get better. Check this out. The BIS Innovation Hub just posted this, talking about their Project Nexus. And look at this. These are the round meetings that we are not going to hear about. Okay, we're not going to hear every closed door meetings. And listen who's all a part of this. It was updated just today. Following a successful proof of concept between Eurosystem, Malaysia, and Singapore in 2022, the BIS Innovation Hub Singapore Center have worked with the central banks and instant payment system operators of Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand to evaluate the model against the reality of their instant payment systems. And Ripple is all over every single country that I just listed. The project team also consulted with central banks, standard setting bodies, IP instant payment system operators, and commercial banks from around the world to validate that Nexus is scalable and interoperable with instant payment systems beyond those 5 countries. And you're probably wondering, what does this mean for XRP? Just wait, this is huge. Singapore, you guys recall, Module Foundation launched the Moduloop CBDC Center of Excellence in Singapore. And since inception, Ripple has been working with the Module Foundation along with Interledger Protocol and Google. Since inception of the Moduloop Foundation. That is huge, okay? And since then, they never looked back. Why are they launching their CBDC Center of Excellence in Singapore? Project Nexus, all over Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. It gets even better. Phase 4 will see Bank Negara Malaysia. And if you guys recall what they stated here at the IMF level, take a look at this. This was published in 2020, Malaysia Selected Issues. And they pointed out that in Malaysia, under payments, clearing, and settlements, Money Match has used the Ripple blockchain for transactions out of Malaysia. It is graduate of the central bank's regulatory sandbox. So they're saying it was within their central bank's regulatory sandbox back then, and they were utilizing the Ripple blockchain. A lot of things are going to go unnoticed here. What are the odds that Circle obtained their major payment institution license June 6 of 2023? And then months down the road, Ripple obtained the same license in Singapore to expand Asia Pacific. We're going in phases. Things are going to get absolutely massive. And then we had Bcash and mobile money connect through RippleNet. This is important because the partnership will power seamless wallet-to-wallet payments to serve the remittance corridor between Malaysia and Bangladesh. And going back to 2018, we had the CIMP group joins RippleNet to power instant payments across ASEAN. Like, this is enormous stuff. And we even have Tranglo launches real-time payments to Malaysia 2022. And guess what? They are pushers of on-demand liquidity and Ripple. They're even telling you how on-demand liquidity works right here in steps. And as you can see, you have the XRP being exchanged for USD, and it could be for USDC, it could be for RLUSD, it could be for EURC, it could be for tokenized assets. It's endless, okay? This is very, very important for you guys to understand. And it's not going to be, one ledger to rule them all.
To be clear, we are not advocating for one ledger to rule them all. A single ledger that encompasses all financial assets and transactions in an economy. Depending on the needs of each jurisdiction, multiple ledgers could coexist. They would need to connect with each other and with other parts of the financial system, for example, through application programming interfaces. And their function and the range of assets they contain would likely evolve over time. They might start with a small number of assets and use cases before gradually expanding into something more ambitious.
And then you have Anthony Welfare from Ripple saying this, like, guys, come on.
Stablecoins, native cryptos. And this is all about how do we connect with the domestic system, the current system in the countries, but other systems, you know, CBDCs, stablecoins, native cryptos, they will all be part of the future. And they all need to work together. And in somehow we need to make that happen. So we think about that a lot.
Things are going to rapidly change. And what really stands out about Ripple's enterprise is they have XRP that complements their enterprise, okay? That makes their enterprise more efficient, more scalable. I mean, that's what the banks want. Circle, on the other hand, you know, they don't have an asset like XRP. They don't have that bridge currency. And that is why Jeremy Allaire made it very clear that in order to, you know, we need to scale USDC, and we could do that by utilizing Ripple technology.
I mean, USDC itself we've seen over $3.5 trillion of transactions directly on the internet between counterparties. And so if we can, you know, improve it with more scalable blockchain technologies like, you know, Brad's company.
And we're just scratching the surface with this information. There is so much more that's going on behind the scenes that I just can't put all into one video. Some of you guys are going to understand this and be very bullish. The individuals that that may not have intelligent brain cells may sit there and want to talk all garbage about this and say it's all misleading and not really see how this all adds up. Do me a favor and just try to go watch my previous videos if you're new to this industry or if you're new to the XRP community. XRP is going to flip Bitcoin 100%. It's without a doubt. Without a doubt. And when that day happens, you best believe we are going to have the biggest celebration within the 24 hours crypto community. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate every single one of you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Just know, time will settle all arguments. Time will settle everything. I mean, if you guys, you know, all the OGs that watch my videos since day one, you know the amount of information that we got right is absurd. Like, we just blew it out of the water. And that is why, I mean, listen, I cannot wait. That's all I got to say. I cannot wait for you guys, for us, just for us to all get together and just look back at these times and say, wow, right? Wow.
When we look forward 5 or 10 years from now, I think we'll find vast swathes of the financial architecture that has been tokenized. That could include central bank digital currencies, which of course exist to some extent so far, but they're quite small at this point. Stablecoins, tokenized real assets, whether it's, I mean, Jenny talks about effectively the digitization or tokenization of money market funds, right? These are trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that could find themselves in tokenized form. And there's an underlying infrastructure that's different for distributed ledger technology relative to the current state of play.
Building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch.
I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.